Welcome back to the channel, folks. I am Matt. Hope you're all doing well. Today, we're going to check out the Quiet Carry bearing. Quiet Carry has come out with a crossbar lock. They're a little bit late to the game here, but I respect it. But if you're going to put out a crossbar lock in 2026, it better be a good one. And I will say the action on this thing is ridiculous. So what we have here is a Vanex blade, clip point, a little bit of an upswept action there. The tip is pretty damn high on this. Whole bunch of belly, really thin behind the edge. Super duper grippy G10 scales. When I first got this thing, it felt like the grippiest G10 I've ever seen. Very sandpaper-ish, but obviously a good thing if you like very grippy handles. And it's smoothed down just a little bit now. But as you can see there, you have like a diamond pattern cut into it, some micro milling in there, and it makes it very grippy. Interesting handle. You got a lot of contouring, but it's also palm swell here in the center, which is why I think they had to do this with the clip where they have this flat landing zone. It would have made it too weird if it, because of the palm swell and the contouring, if they didn't do it this way. And so they are offering a left hand and a right hand version of this. This is the left-handed version, which is really nice of them to think about us lefties. Not gonna lie though, wish they would give us some drift lefties and some other options, but it's a start. You do have a G10 backspacer right there and right there. There's what that side looks like. You have very minimal screws on this. So you have the pocket clip screw and then the pivot, and that's it. You have those well-known 4 little dots that Quiet Carry does. Also, you do have some grippy G10 on the lock itself, so you can really get a good handle on this. An opening hole for flicking, and like I said, just crazy action. The best crossbar lock action I've had, other than I would say like the Three Rivers Manufacturing Bulldog Rev B. Pretty stiff Omega springs as well. But listen to this thing. It has like a little bit of a wind whoosh. Let's see if you can hear it in my mic. Oh man, that is cool. I think it picked it up. But anyway, very cool sound to it. Very stiff springs, a very strong lockup for sure. There's a look at the crossbar right there, and then it locks up. You got a bunch of jimping right here. You can really lock in like that and get all the way up to right there. Very ergonomic as well. You really feel locked in. You got the little cutout here for the finger, and then with that palm swell and the contouring, very locked in. I wear size XXL gloves. Fits me perfectly, but I think it'd feel great with just about any hand size. You can choke up a little bit right there as well. And there's a look at your choil. Like I said, very thin behind the edge. And I think you're gonna get a lot of sharpening life out of this thing. Now on the inside here, you do have, like half liners. The liner comes down to right around here, all right, on both sides. And there's actually a screw from the liner going into the G10 on both as well. And then it's linerless the rest of the way, and that G10 is milled out for weight. The Omega springs are adjustable as well. I think you have 6 different points of adjustment. It's about right in the middle, and even there, they're pretty nice and stiff. I do worry though that sometimes when your Omega springs are stiff like this, they will tend to break a little bit quicker. That was my experience on the TRM Bulldog Rev B. Awesome action, but I popped 2 Omega springs on that knife so far because of the stiffness. So keep that in mind. They might not break at all on this one, but I think you're more likely to break a spring when you got that tighter tension on them. But you can obviously adjust it and make it a little bit softer as well. Now, as far as the clip goes, you can see right there, it is all the way pushed down this way as it will go. And it's close to flush, but still protrudes out a little bit. I watched Lefty EDC's video on this. Shout out to my fellow Lefty. I think he protruded out even a little bit more, and he had complained about a hot spot. It doesn't really bother me with the way I hold a knife. I really think it depends on hand size here and where it presses up against your hand. I usually hold a crossbar lock like around right there, and then I'm flicking, and I've played with this thing a lot and haven't found that it bothers me, but could understand how it could bother some people. But like I said, really just depends on where it's hitting your palm, I think. That being said, I do think they should have made this so you could adjust it more. Let me loosen up that screw and I'll show you. So it is a T8 screw, which is nice. And there's the clip popped out, and it will fit into the slots there. And you could adjust it like this if you wanted to, if you really wanted this to protrude out, but then it definitely would be a hot spot on my hand. but that's the farthest down it will go for me. Now, if that still protrudes out too much for you, I think you have a few different options here. One, you could potentially just trim a hair off of both ends of this clip if you are so inclined and you know how to do that and you have the right tools for it. I also think most other clips would probably fit in this. This one is a Spyderco clip. The wire might be a little bit too thick, but let's see. No, it'll definitely fit. Okay, so look at that. I can push that all the way down. And I'm not going to do that because of the color on this one. But you could get yourself a black clip, or maybe you don't mind a raw metal look with it. But there's a lot of wire clips out there that you could swap this out for. I think Quiet Carry even sells some on their site. But I'm not sure if the ones they sell, this thing's going to be stuck. Let me loosen up the screw. Not sure if the ones they sell have this same issue where, you know, these pieces right here are so long, if that makes sense. But there's a look at that landing zone there. So like I said, I feel like the clip really needed a flat spot to hit. When I first saw this online, I'm like, why didn't they just make it reversible? Why did they have to have a left hand and a right hand version? That doesn't make a lot of sense. But because of the way this is shaped, you got contouring this way and then it swells up right here. I feel like if they didn't have that flat spot, the clip would land on it a bit weird. So I get it now. But, you know, I think it probably cost them a bit extra money having to do a left and right hand version here, but I really appreciate them making lefties. It is running on bearings, like I said, just crazy, crazy action. Let's measure and weigh this. Blade length looks a little under 3 1/4 or so. Cutting edge is about 3, maybe a little bit more than 3 inches. Overall length, you're looking at about 7 3/8. Weight on this guy, 2.7 ounces, so very lightweight for what you get here. Blade stock thickness, like 84 thousandths, so very, very thin blade stock. At the thickest point of the handle, about 0.58 of an inch, 0.6 of an inch. Now, as far as cons here, I think the sharpening job wasn't very good. It's pretty sharp right through here, okay, but up here towards the tip, it's pretty damn dull. And you can see right there, the bevel looks uneven. Like on this side right here, it looks different than on this side to me. And I didn't really notice this until I went to cut open my first package. Very, very slicey through here, not very slicey through the tip. So cutting back here, not bad. Even then, getting hung up a bit. Let's try to slice right here. I mean, I can barely get into paper. And like I said, I've opened like 1 or 2 boxes. Obviously, a lot of people like to just sharpen their blades right out of the gate anyway. But, you know, if you're somebody that wants to just put it in your pocket and roll, and then you go to try to open a package and you realize it's a butter knife, that kind of ruins the experience. Besides that, I think everything's good. Like I said, that clip, you know, I don't understand why they didn't make it a little more adjustable this way and how you wouldn't have figured that some people would take issue with that. That's definitely an oversight to me. You could have either, you know, trimmed down the legs on that clip or even made these slots that it fits into just a little bit longer. QC's good on everything else. Blade centering's fantastic. Nice looking knife. Now, they do make these in Taiwan, I believe. For Vanex, HRC is pretty good from what I've read up on. The action is just crazy, crazy ridiculous. There's nothing here that can't be fixed. So I want to definitely state that, you know, I can sharpen this blade. I can even fix that pocket clip if I want to, but like I said, it doesn't really bother me, but I can see why it might bother some people. These are made to be very, very corrosion resistant. That's what Quiet Carry is known for. The Vanex steel, you know, making everything stainless, made to be, you know, out on salt water and things of that nature. So I think we'll wrap it up there, guys. I think the action on this is fantastic. Build quality is fantastic. The ergos are great. Some of the best crossbar lock action I have ever seen. I just don't understand how the knife was that dull. And I think that the clip, you know, that should have been something that was thought about where it could be a little bit more adjustable. Anyway, besides that, if you like it, it's worth it. The things that I have issue with are fixable. Let's go ahead and wrap it up there. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and check out one of my others. That about wraps it up. Until next time, thanks for watching.